And I'm telling you, you should have seen how hot the bidding action was last night, Ray. I couldn't even keep up with it. I had like 4 screens open. I'm sorry. Gold and silver. So we were just talking about last night's auctions, and I had some juicy finds. Speaking of juicy finds, we're going to talk about some of yours that you've submitted to the show and how you can submit your finds to the show. Something's in this box right here, and whoa, not yet. We're going to talk about it later. Also, how do you value these things, right? When it comes to collecting, flipping, stacking. Well, and this cup's a perfect example. So let's start talking gold and silver. It's Heavy Metal Mondays. Ray and I hanging out in the studio, swapping war stories. What a good girl, right, sweetie? All right, so let's talk silver. Price action. Silver, as we know, in recent history, could not hold the $24 mark. That's okay because we're still sitting above $23.5. Going to see much action this week? Probably not. As low volume is going to be the story because a lot of the world is going on vacation at the end of the week. That's right, everyone. It's Happy Thanksgiving. Gold, what's the story here? Well, are we ready yet to break through 2,000 and hold? No, it doesn't seem just yet. Inflation concerns, Middle East conflict action, not enough to push gold above that 2,000 mark. But how do you value what you're looking at there? Well, I made a really easy chart, a good visual one, and kind of show you how I value things. And then we're going to talk about your finds and my finds and some juicy stories. Because one of these stories I'm going to share with you is about me hitting a home run. The other story isn't about a home run monetary-wise, but how I found this treasure, and I might not even sell it. All right, so here we go. We got 2 lines. This is spot pricing, and this is retail, okay? For unmarked goodies, I have a fair range that I will pay. Will I pay more than costume? Yes. Okay. Costume jewelry, yes. There's some costume jewelry out there that is very valuable, especially within sets. Especially within sets, prominent makers, costume jewelry can fetch a good amount. But you see, I'm still not going to pay good money. And not that there's a quote spot on, costume, but you get my point. I'm not paying big dollar. I'm paying pennies to the dollar. Now, unmarked stuff that I suspect is silver or gold. I don't have much of an appetite on it. I have to get it for a juicy price. So you see spot right here, I'm not paying much for unmarked. Now, I did pick up a pair of vintage silver earrings. You can totally tell by the look, the color, the fade of it that it's silver. They're not marked. So I took a gamble, but I paid next to nothing on it. So for me, it was worth it to take that gamble. Might even put it on the old scratch pad and do some silver testing on the show. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, scrapped stuff that's marked, yeah, I'll pay pretty good. But I'm still nowhere near spot. Now, the auction I did last night that I was talking to Ray about, some big hitters came to play last night. And people were paying retail for gold. Why are you going to an auction to pay retail when you could go into the store to pay retail for new? I mean, you might as well get entertained by the store, right? So that was just kind of weird. But so for me personally, if stuff is scrap and it's marked, I'll pay some good money, but not anywhere near spot. I'm honestly scrap marked. The highest I will pay for marked scrapped is about 80% of spot, and that is like the highest. Okay, wearable, dated, scrape stuffed, okay? Here we go. So it's wearable, it's dated, it's marked. Now, scraped means it's like weared, like it's worn, right? Maybe it's not pristine, but it's worn. I'll pay more for that. Still, I'm not paying spot, though. I'm still not paying spot. I'll pay maybe 90% on spot on that. Because if it's wearable, there's going to be a market for it, but since it's not in pristine condition, probably not going to fetch them. So now, obviously, if you're going to find something Hallmark maker or something that's super old, right? If it's messed up, scuffed up, not a big deal, right? I mean, it's still going to have some value to it. But just think of this as generalities. Now, jewelry grade stuff, modern stuff, designer stuff, I will pay up to spot, but not a penny more. So if there is a modern designer, say, silver necklace that is just really nice, okay? Gold necklace, whatever the heck you want to call it. I am not going to pay more than what spot is on the weight of that item. Same thing with rings and all that. If it's jewelry grade modern and it's going to fetch money, because I know if I want to get rid of it, if I want to liquidate it in the future, it's going to go more closer to the retail end of the spectrum. And what we've been seeing here recently with the auctions, there's been a lot of retail spending. So that's jewelry grade, modern, and designer stuff. I will pay up to spot on that. Why? Because I know I could still make a little money in this gap right here. Personal stuff, collections, and gifts, I will pay more than spot, but you see, I don't pay retail. I don't follow stuff. I don't chase stuff. I don't like FOMO into it. The auction last night had 2 busts that I wanted, and I didn't get either of them, and I was totally okay with it. It had a whole bunch of other statues that I wanted, did not get any of them. That I wasn't okay with. But I wasn't going to chase stuff, and there was just a lot of money being commanded at the auction. So when we talk about personal, collection, gift, jewelry grade, wearable, how do you feel about the lineup of this chart? Value-wise, how do you feel about unmarked silver and gold? See, for me, I think that's a bit of risk right there. Would I buy a big lot? Oh man, if it's unmarked, it would have to come from, say, like a house, an auction, an estate sale of like where the rest of the items are high end, right? I mean, and it would make sense that they would not buy like costume cheap stuff and have really high, because there is some silver, there's some gold out there that isn't marked. A lot of handmade stuff is not marked. So let me know in the comments below. But now, onto your finds. SH is going to start us off today. Say, hey man, what's going on? I got a decent amount of various circulated coins from different countries. I got most of all of it for generational wealth to pass down to my kids. He has a why. That is very important. You have to know why when you go into things, and that's why I had my value chart that I showed you right before this. So when I'm looking to spend, I already know in my head, okay, what is my general range that I'm looking to spend? Way to go, SH. Very interested in minted government or states coins because of silver content and intrinsic value. Sent some pictures. This is some cool. Oh, look at this. This is cool. Nice. The Reichsmark. Look at this. We got some old Liberty silver action here. Some Canadian 1 ounce silver. Oh, cool stuff, man. Some German action here. Speaking of German, the story gets even better. Robbed a toddler for a Deutschmark. No, just kidding. Did you, SH? Purchases from my eBay auction Germany. Just collecting as much circulated silver from different areas. Easily recognized. Interesting is, I can sell the Deutschmarks back to the German government in exchange for about 2 euros for every mark indefinitely, or I could sell its silver content. 2 hedges against inflation. This is a really, really good idea. And I'm glad you brought this up because most of my family lives in Germany. Chase is going to share us one more story, and then I'm going to share it with you how you can submit stories and finds to the show. Okay, sorry to bombard you with a story, but my wife works for ING Bank, and as a gift in 2015 and 2014, they gave her 2 times 2 silver ounce coins. When I met her, she said they didn't look important and wanted to throw them away. Needless to say, I kept them. Years later, I told her how much they were worth, and she said they're hers. We still have them, and I won't let her sell them. You know, it honestly makes me think, how many things out there were thrown away, discarded, scrapped, that actually had like way more value than it's scrapped? Or things that people were just like, you know, this doesn't have any value, and all of a sudden it's like super rare. And if you want to share a story of your finds with the channel, I'm going to show you exactly how. Go to YouTube, go up to the search, type in Crypto with Klaus, click on my face on the icon bubble. You will see up here at the top, okay, a channel based on the crypto enthusiasts. We provide news, updates, pricing, talk, ecosystem. You'll see it right there. It'll say view email address. Boom. There you go, everyone. Submit your finds and stories to the channel. Now we swing it on over to stories from Trick, a huge channel supporter and someone that I email very often about auction finds. Oh man, I purposely asked him to share with me the Queen's Beast. Now, he had brought this up a bit ago, and when he got it, was super ecstatic. And he showed me a picture of it, and I was like, dude, this is really freaking cool. But I was like, I need to see something like to show it like in scale of things. Wait until you see the pictures that I'm going to show you. All right, so this is 1 kilo fine silver, all right? And you can see that the head is identical, all right? Let me just scroll down just so you can see, right? The head is identical. This is 1 kilo of silver. And he said he had to have it. When I asked Trick, I'm like, dude, why'd you have to have it? And here's what I love. He sent me a whole bunch of pictures to give me reference of size. And the reason I want him to do this is not just to give us an idea comparable to real life objects, but to share with you, if you're going to go to an auction or something, right? If you're going to list something, if you're going to describe something, as many pictures as possible to show size and scale is important. Detail and so forth. All right, look at this. Look at the width. All right, you can even tell just by the width here. Now, he sent us more pictures. Look at the scale. This is perfect. And like I said, he had to have this. Now, when we go back to our chart, right, and we start talking about, okay, where does this line up in our chart here? Personal collection gift, right? Jewelry grade modern designer, right? You're going to pay good money for that stuff. Because there's certain things in your collection you're not going to get rid of. And I'm going to show you one of those. Hey, actually, I'm going to probably show you two of them. Now, one of the coolest pictures that Trick shared with us is this. Look at the size of it compared to his hand. And I kid you not, before I did this video, I did the same thing. I was looking at the pictures, I was writing the script, and I'm like, okay, how would this look in the palm of my hand? I'm like, oh my gosh. And we know the thickness about it. Now, Trick sent me a picture of something else, okay? And I had an opportunity to buy something like this. All right, this is a 9-karat gold snake with ruby eyes. And what I wanted to share with you, and this is why I love this kind of stuff, look at the detail on here. This is just beautiful. And this isn't by accident. This isn't by mistake. This isn't like just, bad hand etch marks, bad striking marks. No, look at this. This is made to create that detail. Now, I had an opportunity to buy one of these here recently. And it was a rolled gold one, and I was not down with that. I mean, I wasn't going to do it because rolled gold, for me, it would, again, right, when we go back to, okay, what would the value have been? All right, rolled gold. Was it marked? Yeah. Wearable dated? Yeah, definitely dated. Wearable? Yeah. And what did it go for? It went for too much. That's why I wasn't going to go for it, right? So that's why I wanted to bring up the value list. So now, going back to Trick, all right, and what he shared with us with this snake. I was asking him, I'm like, why? Like, what's the reason, right? What's the why on some of these pieces? And he shared with us this story, and I'll share it with you. I bought the snake because it's unusual along with the charms. The charms are between 4 and 8 grams, which it's not a lot of weight, but it's the detail and the workmanship that puts the price up. I get anything between 150 and 400 for each charm. So when Trick's talking about detail, that's what I'm talking about right here. I'm talking about, look at this. Look at that, almost to make it look like eyelashes on there. And then look, to get characteristics on the scale, there's even grain etched to make it look like scaling here. I mean, that is absolutely beautiful. And then when you look at the Queen's Beast, no wonder why this gentleman has something for very sharp, fine edges. Even the watch you shared with us had the same idea. Look at the edges. Look at the detail. I mean, we can zoom in crazy here to see specks of dust. And, I mean, you could see sharp, clean edges here. I can show you the idea. Look at that. Those are crispy, crispy corners. Things that have been handled correctly. Things that have a lot of value. Things that, hey, when we look at it, right, personal collection gift, yeah, we're going to spend more money. Oftentimes, more than spot. Now, I'm going to share with you two stories, all right? These are going to be two finds. The one was a recent one, and hold on every second here. Let me set this up a little bit. All right, so I got my box of treasures with me here, but let's give us as much light as possible so you can see the juicy goodiness. Okay, so this first story, and I'm going to tell the story, and as I tell this story, I'm going to share with you some pictures, all right? So I like to go fishing, all right? And there's this really cool waterfall cascade place by me. And I was flying my drone one day, and I was looking, I was like, yo, there's a really weird area where like the sand builds up around these rocks. It has to do with the fast flowing current. And I told my son, I was like, dude, let's bring the metal detector there. I was like, you could see sands piling up. You could actually see like an edge of black sands too, right? Where like kind of the current was kind of pushing all the heavy material out. So I told my son, I was like, look, let's grab our metal detectors and let's go out there and let's see what we can find. And we did find something. We found this. Now, this is not anything too funky, crazy, nice. It looks like maybe steel, maybe a little bit of brass ring there in the center. Nothing too crazy. And you know what? Let me do this. Let me switch it now to autofocus really quick. All right, here you go. Hopefully you can see that just a little bit better right there. So right, not a fancy ring, not super nice, nothing like super cool, anything like that. But it was this story. It was a story that we were fishing in this place. We used the drone to scope it out. We got out our metal detectors, right? And what the thing was, we got a hit on this rock, okay? And it was totally, totally cool. So there was this rock, and it was kind of like a sharp ledge where the sand was just packed in this way. And we had the metal detector out, and we got a hit, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of a weird spot. And I thought, you know, lead, fishing tackle, hooks, stuff like that, because we found a whole bunch of that. We found some quarters and change, too. But then all of a sudden, like, the hit was different sounding. Any of you used a metal detector, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It just had a different sound to it. So we started digging by hand, and we started digging more and more and more. We got about 9 inches down on this rock, and like we were still just like right there. Like I couldn't get the hit. So anyways, we took out our pinpoint detector, and we stuck our pinpoint detector, and then we finally found it. Anyways, lo and behold, we found this ring. And who knows how long this ring has been there? Who knows why it got there? You know, maybe there was a little bit of necking going on, and, you know, a little bit of what happened going on, and all of a sudden someone dropped a ring. Maybe someone was fishing or playing in the water. Really cool place, though, as you can see by the picture. So this, does it have value? No, not at all. Story? Yes. Amazing story, because this was a cool find I was able to do with my son. Now, I'm going to share with you my find of the month, and I'm going to try not to scare anyone with this thing. Okay, so check this out. There was an auction that would happen, and in the picture of the auction, okay, all we had was this, all right? It looked just like this. The picture just showed just this part, okay? Just the buckle right here and the belt kind of folded behind it, and it said silver. Vintage tie silver. And I'm like, okay, maybe the belt buckle, right? Maybe just the buckle itself is silver. So I did some research. I looked. I couldn't find anything that resembled this. And I was like, okay, the rest of the auction had some decent high-end stuff. That's why I brought that up earlier about when you go for marked or unmarked stuff. There was a bunch of juicy high-end stuff in this auction. Like, I've got lots of other juicy good finds. Yes, tea straws. Thank you very much, silver. But anyways, not to get sidetracked. So the rest of the auction was super good. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take a chance on this. And I kid you not, in my head, I had a price. In my head, I'm like, I'd pay 110, 115, because I had to pay 15% juice for the auction fees. So I was like, all right, 110, 115 bucks, that's my max, because if the whole belt is silver, this is a home run. If the whole belt isn't silver, and it's just the belt buckle, okay, at least I didn't lose too badly. Or, hey, maybe I could break even because it's a great piece. So I go to the auction, and I pick it up. And here's the best thing about it, okay? The date on the tag of when they got it is my birthday. So that was kind of a very weird signifying thing right there. I'm not going to throw that out there. But check it out. Look how big this thing is. And I just want to be careful. But check this out. I'm going to keep pulling this up. We're going to keep pulling it up. We're going to keep pulling it up. We're going to check that out. So all I had was that picture that I shared with you, and I'm trying to get it all in frame. It is like super crazy, so I'm trying to do this diagonally. All I had was that main picture, and guess what, everyone? What if I told you the entire belt is 100% silver stamped? And let me see if I can get my hand right back here just so you can see the stampings on it. There you go. The entire belt is stamped. Each link is stamped along with the buckle, and it is stamped 100% silver. Measured this thing out, it is 37 inches long of vintage tie. Now, there is a maker mark on the back. I have sent the details off to a friend to see if he can give me some information on it. This here, what did I pay for it? Paid, I think it was like just under $80 with fees. And every belt I've seen that's been pure silver like that is $500, $600, $700 on up. So was I ready to spend good money? I wouldn't call it good money because I didn't have all the details. But I used the information from the auction to kind of give me less risk. Now, if a lot of the auction would have been maybe like silver plated stuff, junk like that, would have been like, okay, I'm not going to take the risk on it. But there was lots of juicy goodiness. Vintage marked silver sterling earrings. Oh my gosh, totally cool stuff. Oh, wait a minute. You want to see something else? Well, here, I'll tease you with it. This is what else was in there. They were travelers. How about this? How about Tibetan silver earrings? And check out the size of that on my hand. How freaking cool. So I knew that they had a lot of high-end goodies. They also had a lot of good high-end China, stuff like that. Really, really neat stuff. So I took the chance, and the chance paid off. Vintage Thai silver bracelets, yes. But the idea behind this whole thing is that some of these treasures are worth a lot. Some of these treasures are intrinsically worth a lot. I'm going to go off camera real quick, and I'm going to share with you this. I paid way more than spot on this, all right? So when you look at my chart, you're sitting there and you're like, well, wait a minute. Why would you pay way more for spot for this? This is silver plated. I no idea. It's silver on copper, nothing too crazy. But I got this because it is a cool little goblet. And in about 6 weeks from now, I have an ultra marathon that I've been training for. And part of the ultra marathon race is every time you do a lap, the course is 1 mile long. All right, it's how many miles can you run in 6 hours and 12 hours. And how it works is every time you complete a lap, you have to take a stone and drop it in your cup. And they said, make sure you bring a unique cup so that no one gets confused, because after you've been running for 4, 5, 6 hours, you might get confused on whose cup is whose. But now I have my own cool little cup here that every time I go past on a race, I can simply just put a stone in there. So every mile, I'm going to be able just to add it up. So did I pay more for this than what it was worth spot? Like if I were to like deplate this and all that? Yeah, of course. But I got this to keep, and I got this for a future memory for that race. And the stories bring a smile to all of our faces. So with that in mind, please submit a story. And when you do, put gold and silver as the subject so that I know it applies to this. Now, I did do an auction last night, and yes, I did buy some more goodies. I also have some other goodies that I would like to share with you, but that's going to be on the next show. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you dig this kind of content, because, oh my, we ain't even close to being done yet. Yeah, not even close. Oh yeah, and I forgot. I got a very, very cool... next show I'll show you guys. All right, everyone, take care.